Hey everybody, welcome to Lex's World, and today I am doing an LED grow light review on a light that I hope to someday also do a grow journal with, the G8 LED 900 Veg and Flower model. Look at this thing, it's big, it's heavy, and those of you who frequent my grow gear shop regularly have probably noticed that I have it divided up into two sections. First, there's the no chip on board LED section, which is a little less advanced but a lot more affordable. And then if you scroll further down, I have the chip on board section. Well, in my non-chip on board area, I have always had at least one G8 LED light there for you guys to pick from, and it's always been probably my highest end non-chip on board choice. Why have I always had one of these lights for you guys? Well, the short answer is build quality. These are really well made, so let's kind of reposition ourselves into an easier spot for me to show it to you guys, and I'll show you guys what exactly it's made out of and what its features are. There, that's a bit more comfortable. So G8 LED is probably the most well-known and award-decorated name in the North American grow fixture industry. And they make everything in the United States, including the diodes, which is quite rare. I've mentioned their brand name even to casual growers and had them recognize it right away. For years, G8 LED were always in High Times magazine. I'll show you guys right here. And they've been both a frequent award winner and a regular advertiser in there, as you guys can see. And at all the major Cannabis Cups events, they're always on the scene, and they always have a very professional looking booth and product demonstrations. But they also have consistently good user reviews. I've never seen one of their lights rated at below 4.5 stars on Amazon, for example. And they have a number of models, the 900 here being the biggest and the 240 being the smallest, if you don't count their flower booster model, one of which I have right here, by the way. Now, some of their models are still optimized just for flowering phase, and they call those the bloom models, such as the G8 LED 600 Bloom, and those just tend to have a lot more red diodes. But this 900 model is a veg/flowering, so it can do both, but it only has one setting. As you can see, if we turn it around, there's only one switch. There is no separate veg and flowering switches here. Now, it is an 8-band light, including the infrared and the UV bands. It's made up of 288 3-watt chips, which is my favorite diode size, as my regular viewers know, and it replaces roughly an 1100 to a 1200 watt HID system. For coverage, it covers a 6x4 space best due to its rectangular shape, though it would also do fine in a 5x5 tent, I should mention. For power consumption, it draws 540 watts of actual power out of the wall, which is very good since some similar lights for specs draw closer to 560 to 600 watts. Now, all those stats I gave you give you some idea of where the 900 stands relative to something like the 6-band Mars Hydro 1600 in my current grow journal. They're actually quite similar in specs and output, with this one having a slight edge both in the number of light bands it has and how little power it eats through. Next to each other, the G8 LED 900 is thinner and only about 60% the size of the Mars Hydro 1600, but for weight, it's 85% of the weight. That's the build quality. Whether it's the diodes, the fans, the circuit boards, or the casing, everything in this light right here is high-end. It can actually last those tens of thousands of hours advertised, whereas with many of the other brands, that's an open question. The downside of the well-made, recognized brand is, of course, price. This light sells for around $1,000 US at the moment, which is more expensive than the bulk of the similar competition. I will, of course, link down to this light in the video description. But before we go any further, let's hang this thing up and see how it runs. And there they are in hanging mode, guys. Now, obviously, my Grow Journal tent is all taken up, so I had to hang them up here for now just to show you. G8 LED also sells the 900 and veg and flower model with an optional flower booster kit made up of two 90-watt flower boosters like this one here, which is what they sent me. I'll link down to these flower boosters in the description as well. They're similar in appearance to those dual band LED UFO lights that people used to sell years ago, but obviously it's a much higher build quality, it's got only a single red band, and it's meant to be used not by itself, but instead alongside any kind of light. You can even put it next to an HPS as an additional flowering stage booster. In my view, getting the flower booster kit makes sense a lot more with the smaller G8 LED 600 model than with this 900 model, which to me already has a fair number of red diodes. By the way, here's the par output chart for both the 900 and the flowering booster. As always, height from the canopy matters more than anything else, as you guys can see. That said, with the flowering booster closing in the small flowering weakness that still exists in LED lighting of this category, G8 LEDs will compete during flowering with absolutely any other lighting type, including plasma or high pressure sodium. That's it for my 2 cents today, and when I move into my next house and set up a bigger Grow Journal tent, we'll definitely do a test run with this thing, because I just really want to do one. Maybe we'll do one even sooner, who knows. But to catch that, make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button if you found this useful, and we'll see you all next time.